Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the Tommy Temper Show. I'm Tommy Temper, and we're coming to you live from Alberta, Canada. We're going to bring you some basic campaign trail footage here. Going to show you what's going on with the elections in here in Canada. Basically, what's happened is we've got Carbon Carney has called an election, and now we're into that campaign trail. And, of course, as Carney was calling the election, he actually was campaigning at the same time, you know, like using the government coffers, the whole government platform and everything to basically start campaigning. So we won't show you that because it was pretty drab, and you're not really missing anything there. And hi to everyone in the chat. I won't be able to talk to the chat too much here today, but we're just going to give you the footage here, show you what the fervor is like in Canada here. How, you know, we're not kidding about, you know, you've got basically dry Carbon Carney that's like a typical banker type guy that, you know, is kind of got his own song and dance. But we've got our leader of the Conservative Party, which is he's akin to Republicans in the States, would be Pierre Poilievre. And he's on a campaign trail. Let's whip over to the goings-on that happened a little bit earlier here today, and we'll show you what was actually happening. Let's go. Leo, hey, are you drunk again? No, I'm not drinking at all. But let's watch the campaign trail here with Pierre Poilievre. First up here is going to be his wife. Now, his wife is actually Latino, so she speaks Spanish, French, and English. I don't know what other languages there, but she's got a very fluent control of the French language, as you'll see here on this clip. But let's watch the goings on with the Conservatives, and this was the party. This was the big push, and just watch the fervor of the whole thing. Just watch how everyone is acting in the background and what the support is like. And this is what the campaign is going to be like for the Conservatives here. Let's hope it continues like this. And yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing. We're seeing some big support for the Conservatives here now. Let's watch the polling numbers and see whether or not they're going to change. We got Leo in there. Leo Lucier, good to see you. And Pinky in there. Hey, chat room's filling up. Let's start this off here.
Bonsoir!
And this is Pierre's wife.
Good evening! Bonsoir le Canada! Nous y voici. Nous y sommes arrivés. Maintenant, c'est le temps. Valentina, elle est contente. Il est maintenant le temps. Il est venu le temps où nous devons choisir. Si nous voulons donner un 4e mandat au parti qui nous a mis dans une situation économique vulnérable face aux menaces de Donald Trump, ou
election coming up in April.
Choisir le changement pour mettre le
Looking
Canada
good. We're looking forward to
d'abord.
this.
Here we are, Canada. It is now time where we must decide whether we're going to choose a party that is asking for a fourth
That's right.
mandate.
She's Venezuelan.
And that put us in a weak economic position in face of the threats from Donald Trump. Or if we want change to put Canada first. It is a real pleasure for me to be here tonight. C'est vraiment un plaisir pour moi d'être ici ce soir. It is hard to believe, coming all the way from Venezuela, immigrating here
Venezuela.
in 1995 with my
Good for
family. My father, who is present here tonight, mi papa, presente aquí, mon père.
Papa. They say papa in Venezuela for dad.
You're going to come here for 2 seconds because
Father.
everybody is going to have to wish my father happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Papa. There he is.
C'est la fête de mon père, es el cumpleaños de mi papá, so it is a great coincidence that we begin this battle on my father's birthday. Feliz cumpleaños, Papa.
I wasn't going to.
So as you know, my husband and I, we share the same values.
Yeah, Leo, I wasn't going to promote Carney, but yeah, thanks a lot for the subs. Yeah, if we got mods in the room there, turn on subs only in 5 minutes, please. And yeah, I wasn't going to really promote Carney. You know, if I show Carney, I'm actually promoting Carney. And do I really want to promote Carney? And that's the reason that I'm not bringing Carney on here and putting him up first.
But our backgrounds are a little bit different. As I said, I was born in Caracas, Venezuela, and my family immigrated here in 1995.
You could always put him up and criticize
When we came
him.
here, my family had to work really hard. My father had 3 jobs at some point just so that we can make ends meet. Later on in life wasn't necessarily any easier. By the time that I was 17, I had moved out and had become financially independent. By the time that I was 19, I had moved to Ottawa. I put myself through university with a student loan. I worked really hard, eventually got a job in the Senate, where I met my husband. And my husband, he was born in Calgary, and he was adopted by 2 school
Give us a
teachers.
share out if you can on this feed.
His family
Please give us
had
a
to
share
work
out.
really hard and live paycheck to paycheck
Any way
as well.
you can.
My husband worked really hard. Eventually, he also made it to Ottawa. Thank God, because that's where we met. So, you know, my husband has spent most of his adult life right here in Canada fighting for all of you.
Let's go.
And yes, he spent most of his adult life here
Just trying to do a
putting
share out
Canada
here
first.
on Facebook.
And that is not something that the opposition should look down on. Because, you know, leadership is born from true love for our country, from true
Thank you for sharing.
patriotism.
Leo, big ups. Leo.
Leadership is not born from fancy degrees, fancy titles. Leadership is not born from the boardroom of the elite. So this journey for us began about 3 years ago, when my husband started traveling from coast to coast to coast to listen to everyday Canadian, because what we need is leadership and a government that's going to be for the people and by the people. So that has been my husband's life story, here in Canada, fighting for Canadians. In contrast, we have a man who's asking for us to trust him that he can lead us, despite the fact that he has not spent the last decade here in Canada, despite the fact that he has been promoting policies that goes against Canada's interests, bringing jobs and investment abroad rather than growing our economy
This
here.
is Pierre's wife.
You know, when all of the crazy spending happened under the Liberal government, my husband was right there in the Finance Committee, actually going toe-to-toe against the man who's asking for us to trust him today. And my husband was the first one, 3 years ago, warning that all of this money printing was going to cause inflation.
Come on.
Meanwhile,
Whose side are you on?
others
Carney's side?
looked down condescendingly on him, saying that the opposite would happen. How did that fancy degree work out for that person?
She might be our first lady. She could be our first lady if Pierre gets in. So I wouldn't
that one, but I'm referring to the
backtalk
other
her
one too.
or talk negatively about her.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud
It's
of standing by
11:30
my
here.
husband's side and having my family entirely here spending by my husband's side, because we're very proud of sharing him with you all. So, it is
Still
my
early
real
here.
pleasure to introduce to you
There we
my
go. We
husband
shared it
and
out
the
a little
next
bit.
Prime Minister of Canada.
Potential. We're going to have to say, we don't say he is going to be, or he is the next prime minister. Potentially he might be. Let's hope that he is going to be potentially Prime Minister of Canada. But my eggs are in his basket, that's for sure. You know, I'm going to be pulling for him, and we're going to be promoting, the conservative side of things. Let's face it, we're sick and tired of the Liberals. Frickin' Trudeau has, dragged our country right down. And you know what? If you said anything about immigration, Trudeau would call you a racist. Do you remember Trudeau calling us racist? And we were actually afraid to talk about immigration for fear of being called a racist. So, definitely now we're able to talk about stuff like that. So, we're going to start talking about immigration and all the things in Canada that the Liberals broke. And, we don't have enough housing in Canada. We're overpopulated. You've got people can't buy houses because the price of housing has gone up, particularly because of the influx of people. So many people coming in here. You got so many people chasing over a few number of houses. Of course, we're going to be in a bad shape, and that's exactly where we are in Canada here now. So we need to do something about that. Never mind the tariffs and stuff like that. And the dealings. Nobody's dealing with the tariffs at all. Period. Carbon Carney is too afraid, I believe, to talk to Trump. Even it's freaking ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, like crazy. So let's see what Pierre has to say, and it's a lot of fervor in the room there, as you can see. Looking good. He's he's got his kids with him there. He's got his daughter. His wife is holding his daughter, and he's holding his son there. And it's looking good. Check it out. Feel the fervor in the room.
Who's ready to axe some taxes?
Yeah.
Who's ready to build some homes?
Yeah.
Who's ready to bring home the Canadian promise?
Let's axe the tax.
This morning, little baby Cruz here was actually a fighter pilot. He had a fighter pilot jacket on, but now he's got a baseball jacket on. So he understands something that the Liberals perhaps do not. So here, for 3 terms, they provided weak and out-of-touch leadership. 3 terms. They drove up costs and crime. 3 terms. They sent our jobs south and pushed our economy under the American thumb. My little boy understands something the Liberals do not, which is that in baseball and in politics, it's 3 strikes and you're out.
That's right. 3 strikes and you're out.
3 strikes and you're out. Oui. On va mettre le Canada d'abord pour faire changement, mes amis. Ça me fait plaisir d'être ici aujourd'hui. Après 9 ans, après 10 ans, et 3 mandats des libéraux, ils ont augmenté le coût de la vie, augmenté la criminalité, affaibli notre économie et expulsé des emplois pour nous rendre plus vulnérables envers les États-Unis. Les libéraux ne méritent pas un 4e mandat. Ce qu'il nous faut, c'est un gouvernement conservateur qui va mettre le Canada d'abord pour faire changement.
Jeez, I don't know what's with the blurry feed here. Hang on.
Wow, it is great to be here. What an incredible crowd. Look at this crowd. Look at this. Amazing. You're ready? Oh, bring it home. 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 Oui, mes amis, we are going to bring it home.
We want it the best for Alberta.
My friends, I love you too.
And the best for Canada.
I love you too. I love you all. And I'm here with all of you to bring home the Canadian promise. The promise that Anna talked about, the incredible story of her family coming here from Venezuela, making the great sacrifices that her father did so that he could start a family, 6 people in a basement apartment in working class Montreal.
Oh my God.
Sacrificing everything every day up at the crack of dawn to
I know. The old thing is, I parked my trailer over a basement and rented the basement out to some newcomers.
Fruit in a farm field, because that's what it took.
That's how bad it's getting here.
To pay the rent and raise the family and be a father. And as a result, today, one son is a soldier, another son is a carpenter, and a daughter who is a nurse, and of course, the greatest woman in the world, Anaida.
Yeah. I think the Conservatives are going to win because Carbon Carney does not have the charisma.
Of Canada.
Like, look at this. This is Pierre Poilievre. He does not use a teleprompter. As a matter of fact, if you watched his wife there in the earlier bit there, she was not using a teleprompter either. They're all doing this off of the cuff. This guy is golden. Like, he knows his stuff, and he's been in politics long enough that he just, it just rolls right off of his tongue here. And the quips and everything on this whole bit is actually pretty good. I like what he's saying. I like what he's doing.
39th birthday today, Louise. That's the promise the country made to me when I was born to a single mom who put me up for adoption to 2 school teachers. But those teachers taught me a lot of things. The most important
surprised you didn't turn out country, liberal.
If you worked hard, you could do anything you wanted. You get a beautiful house on a safe street, protected by courageous soldiers under a proud
At this
flag.
moment, I have to say
that was the promise of
against
Canada.
the threat of the states. We have to say, hey,
that promise is broken.
I'm Canadian.
Everything costs more. Work. That's right, and we will fix it. We will bring it home.
Let's fix it. Bring it home.
Bring it home. Bring it home. Bring it home. Bring it home. Bring it home. Incredible. Look at these incredible, hardworking, patriotic people. With people like these, we can overcome any obstacle. We can bring home the country we knew and loved. We can stand up to the Americans and put Canada
That's
first.
right. That's what they mean by bring it home. Bring it home is the, bring production, bring manufacturing, bring everything back to Canada. The same way that Trump is saying, we're going to put up tariffs, and the tariffs are going to bring the jobs back home. Well, this is exactly what we're saying now in Canada. Enough is enough. We've been too much embedded with the states and with other countries, and buying too much stuff from China. We have to start those 3D printers up in Canada and start printing those 3D widgets for the dollar store right here in Canada.
This is the thing about our country. Our people are so much better than our government, aren't they?
Oh, man, especially the Liberals.
They deserve so much better than that. Après 10 ans des libéraux, ils ont nous affaiblis face aux Américains. Ils ont brisé le système d'immigration, bloqué nos ressources naturelles, doublé la dette nationale et le logement aussi. C'est la pire inflation depuis 40 ans. Et notre économie est affaiblie face aux Américains, ce qui menace notre souveraineté. Mais pour reprendre le contrôle et relancer notre économie, il faut couper la bureaucratie, les taxes et les impôts, protéger nos frontières, exploiter nos ressources naturelles, assurer notre souveraineté et protéger notre pays contre les menaces de Donald Trump. Le Canada vaut la peine qu'on se batte pour lui, pour notre peuple, pour notre terre, pour notre chez nous. C'est ça, mettre le Canada d'abord pour faire changement. Now, in order to try and get a 4th term, after driving up costs and crime, after destroying our economy and putting us under the thumb of the Americans, the Liberals are replacing... You got to give them points for creativity and audacity. They are replacing Justin Trudeau with his economic advisor and hand-picked successor. First of all, they are the same Liberals with the same ministers, the same MPs, the same advisors, the same policies, and even today making the same promises that they've been breaking for over 10 years. And who did they choose to bring in? Mr. Carney.
Oh my God. Carbon Carney, the clown.
Under the Liberals, led by Trudeau or Carney, what we have is out-of-touch, weak leadership. And for Mr. Carney, someone who will not stand up for our country. Only 6 days after Donald Trump threatened tariffs on our country,
hey, Daniel.
Mark Carney decided to move his headquarters out of Canada to the United States, to New York.
We're not going to boycott anything.
That's the kind of...
The only time we boycott anything is when the government takes booze off the shelf. Then we don't have any choice.
He is
and by the way, I went into the Costco liquor store today, and I didn't see one empty shelf in the whole bloody place. It was completely full. So I don't know if they did. Well, in fact, the Alberta Liquor Board would have pulled the American liquor from their store, but they simply changed the labels on their shelves and put more Canadian stock on the shelves. So the shelves were not empty; they were completely full of Canadian product. That's at the Costco liquor store. So, and I was there today. I was going to take a picture or a video of the empty shelves, but there were no empty shelves.
$1 million. He admits,
and we're not drinking bourbon either.
By the way, he's in massive multi-million-dollar conflicts of interest, but he just won't tell us what they are. He knows all of his investments. He knows all of his investments, but he won't tell you, even though those interests run against Canada's interests, my friends.
He doesn't want to answer questions.
It is time to stop putting the Liberal Party first. It is time to put Canada first for a change.
That's right. You know, Carbon Carney, I've seen so many times where the media has asked him a question, and he is just like a politician. He may not be a politician, but he sure as hell knows how to dodge a question and to just, you know, put it on to somebody else. You know, like it's I can't answer that question. This outfit, this company, this division, whatever, knows about that. Even though you know damn well that he does know the answer to the question, he just refuses to answer questions if they put him in a bad light. Yeah, elections in a month, John.
And we've got a bring it home economic plan to do it. And it starts with a big, patriotic, bold, and beautiful bring it home tax cut for all Canadians. We will start by axing the carbon tax.
Let's go.
By the way, the tax still applies at the pump today.
Axe
the
the tax.
We're going to pull a fast one on this as well. After 7 years of applying the carbon tax, they've decided that they're going to hide it at the gas station for 30 days before the election, while keeping the carbon tax law in place. Furthermore, Mr. Carney says that he will bring in an industrial carbon tax.
Yeah, right. Hang on. Let's talk about an industrial carbon tax. Oh, in other words, those are for the companies, the big companies, the larger companies, right? The industrial companies. So if you're running any kind of an industrial company, like let's say you're making pulp, lumber, resources, anything like that, you're going to be paying a high tax, a carbon tax. And then how do you recover your money? Well, you just build that tax into your products, right? So the end user still pays for the carbon tax. It doesn't matter. It is a hidden carbon tax. So you're taking the carbon tax off of the consumer that can see it at the gas pump and on their utility bill, like for heating your house. And it's ridiculous. Like I have seen bills that show that carbon tax is the same as the amount of the same price as the amount of fuel used. If let's say you used $100 worth of fuel, there's $100 of carbon tax on that. Like that's how badly it's affecting us. And people are needing to spend money on food and things like that, and instead they're spending it on heating their homes. It's ridiculous.
Another area, this is an area where Mr. Carney agrees with Donald Trump. They both want to tax Canadian industry. Trump's tariffs and Carney's carbon tax will send hundreds of thousands of Canadian jobs moving south of the border. There will be a large sucking sound of Canadian jobs leaving the country if the Carney carbon tax on steel, on fertilizer, on aluminum, on basically every industrial product that we rely on for our modern civilization faces this new tax. That is why I have announced that not only will I repeal the carbon tax on consumers. Oh, my little girl likes that one. Bravo, Valentina. But not only will I will get rid of the carbon tax on consumers, I will axe the entire carbon tax law for everyone, for everything, for good, for real, for a change.
No, I think Pierre is like the real deal. Like, I've been watching him for years before he, became leader of the Conservative Party. And I actually had a lot of respect for him, the way he conducted himself in Parliament, in question period. Like, he is, like I said, he's got, well, like he said, he was raised by two teachers, right? Two teachers. So imagine living in a family like that. Like, he's a pretty educated guy, and he knows how to speak, and he does have a really good memory for the details.
There's income tax. Have you seen this meme online?
And Facebook,
in the park with his dad, and the little munchkin is asking Dad, "What is an income tax for?" And the child is looking heartbroken as the dad explains to him that an income tax form is the opposite of a high school report card. He says, "The better you do, the more you get punished," right? It's the income tax is the fine you pay for the crime of working hard.
Very good point right there. Have you ever heard that? Where the more money that you make, and the only way that you make more money is by working harder, i.e., you get a better job, work yourself up in the business, or you work overtime. Like any of the things that you do to work harder. What the government does is they put you, as you make more money, they put you into a higher tax bracket. In other words, if instead of making $40,000, let's say you made $50,000. Now, let's say you're taxed at 20% at $40,000. Well, the tax rate goes up to like, let's say a higher amount when you hit the $50,000. Maybe it's 30%, instead of 20%. Your tax bracket goes up, and you pay more tax the more money you make. So the whole system is set up for people to not succeed, really, honestly. And it has to absolutely change. We have to make the system so that you are rewarded if you work hard. And if you don't work hard, well, then you're just at the bottom tier, and you're not going to get anywhere. You need to have some incentive to work harder to make more money, and not to have the government rob you of the hard-earned dollars that you make by taxation with their crazy bracketed income tax that makes those people that work harder pay more tax. The guys that complain the most are the welders, the plumbers, the people out there that are busting their asses off every frickin' day to make a buck, working overtime and everything, and they get taxed to hell. It's ridiculous.
Well, now I saw today that the Liberals, Mr. Carney, was literally repeating the election promise about income tax that Justin Trudeau and the Liberals broke 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So Carney had Trudeau's top his top strategic advisors, his spin doctors like Gerald Butts. Who wrote the promise Trudeau made about income tax 10 years ago, promised that Trudeau would then go on to break, raising income tax by 80%.
Well, hey, one thing to remember, tariffs are actually good. Taxes are bad, okay, in the sense that if the tariffs are tariffs within your country and where you're tariffing products coming into your country and making those products more expensive in your country, then your country is more pressured into producing those products within your own country, right? Because you can make a dollar at it, right? Everything in the whole world is revolves around the dollar. Let's face it. It's all money. It's all a money exchange. And what are you going to do? Are you going to buy widgets off of China and send your hard-earned money to China, or are you going to build those widgets in Canada or in the United States? You know, Trump is not stupid. You know, what he's doing is not foolish. You know, like your Canadians are like, oh, Trump, bad orange man. Oh, you know, with the tariffs. Well, yeah, well, he's not trying to help Canada. You know, that's for sure. We understand that. He's trying to help the United States. So I don't condemn Trump for doing a good job of dealing with his own country. And I just wish to hell that we would do the same thing up here in Canada, to worry more about us up here in Canada, to make sure that we have tariffs in place that are going to protect production in Canada, especially from places like China, way more so than because we do buy an awful lot of stuff from China. You know, like if I look at the stuff in the stores and see where it's made, like, you know, sure, there's stuff made in the States, but an awful lot of it comes in here from China. It's ridiculous. You know, like we should be able to manufacture shirts, socks, shoes, things like that within our own countries. Like, honestly, come on.
And now they have the audacity to make the very same promise. My friends, we cannot believe them on taxes or anything else, but what you can know is this. When I become Prime Minister, God willing, I will...
ABD, good to see you.
Thank you. We will cut income tax so you bring home more of each dollar you earn, and hard work actually pays off.
Yeah. Well, anywhere else in the world,
we will cut government waste.
Ship stuff in.
We will cut bureaucracy, consultants, handouts to corporate insiders. We will cut wasteful foreign aid to dictators, terrorists, and multinational bureaucracies. And we will use the savings to bring down taxes and deficits in order to make your life more affordable. And we will bring homes that you can afford to buy. You deserve a home.
I don't know how we're going to do that.
The GST on homes to save you up to 50 grand.
Could make it a little bit easier to buy a new home, but still, they're still going to be unaffordable.
Incentivize municipalities to speed up permits, free up land, and cut development charges to build the homes of the future. Our Bring It Home economic plan is also about bringing home our jobs for a change. After 10 years of this liberal government and 3 terms, they've given $500 billion
actually,
out of
where you comment there, not many people in that little room. Those are only the people that you can see. But I actually saw a video of the people that were lined up here, and they were literally lined up for blocks to get into this venue. But the camera isn't showing you, you know, what's behind him. He's speaking to the people. Those people you're looking at are the people behind him. They're the backdrop for his speech. That's what that is.
Most of it into the hands of the Americans. They did it by bringing in radical net zero environmental extremism.
That's your liberals. NDP.
They blocked nearly $200 billion of resource projects. Mr. Carney was Justin Trudeau's economic advisor as the Liberals waged war on our energy and resource sector. But we will take action to reverse this attack on Canadian jobs and industry. I will repeal the Liberal No New Pipelines Law, C-69.
There you go. There, that's a big one. Because living here in Alberta, what they've done is they put caps on the amount of oil that you can pull out of the ground or that you can process, tar sands. and they've brought in bills that are no pipelines. So we can't. Our oil is locked in. What we can ship to the coast, well, we can ship a little bit to the coast. But the Liberals and the NDP made it so that no new pipelines can be built either east or west. So Alberta is totally screwed. The oil's locked in, and they're buying Arab oil out on the east coast of Canada, in places like New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. They're buying Arab oil over there because we can't even ship our oil over to them because they won't allow pipelines to be built. And another, prick in the whole thing is the Quebec, the province of Quebec, because that province in itself is being really dastardly and saying, no, we don't want any. We literally sent $13 billion to Quebec this year, right? Oil sands profit to Quebec, $13 billion this year alone. That's how much we subsidize Quebec, and Alberta sends billions to other provinces across Canada. But yet Quebec won't allow a pipeline to be built through Quebec. But they'll take our billions and billions and billions of dollars. Like it's you guys don't understand what's going on up here in Canada, and that's one of the reasons that Alberta wants to separate. Because living in Alberta here, we're sick and tired of sending literally billions and billions and billions of dollars to other provinces across Canada, but yet our own government here in Alberta is unable to finance our debt. Right, we're running a deficit here because we're sending billions of dollars across Canada. We can't even fund our own government here in Alberta. It's like totally ridiculous. We're being so badly taken advantage of by the federalists in Canada. The problem is, and good point, why doesn't the West refine more oil? Why don't we refine more oil here in Alberta? The reason for it, and we do, actually, I should go out I'll take you guys out on a IRL. Well, I'll show you the oil refineries here and what they look like. We'll go for a drive and I'll do some videos out there. But we do that. But the problem is that oil refining companies and the companies that are in that business are really, really afraid to build any more refineries because we had the Liberal government pushing the EV thing, saying, no, we're phasing out oil. We want to phase out the oil sands. We want to bring in electric vehicles, and we're going to give you a subsidy if you buy an electric vehicle, and we're phasing out gas cars. Well, you tell me, in that kind of an environment, if you're an owner of a company, would you invest in a refinery if the government is saying that they want to phase out cars, electric gas cars, they want to phase out oil, and they want to bring in electric cars and things like that? Like, you have to have a climate that is receptive to companies that want to invest money. And right now, that climate is not here in Canada. There's no refineries going to be built in Canada, I can tell you right now, because companies would never invest a penny in something that is a declining business, right? You're just not going to do that.
Well, common sense.
Common sense. There's not much of it.
We're going to make common sense common again, and we're going to repeal the Liberal cap on Canadian energy. We will unleash all of our energy sector to produce more and bring it home.
Yeah, exactly, Mater.
We will.
You need oil for a lot of things.
I heard someone say ring of fire over there. Ring of fire. Ring of fire. We have hundreds of billions.
Yeah, the Ring of Fire. I know I've heard that before, the Ring of Fire. That's where we want to create business and, get our own minerals out of the earth and, do our own refining and stuff like that.
Billions of dollars of cobalt, copper, chromite, zinc, gold. That belongs to us. It's right beneath our feet. The Liberals have been blocking it for 5 years. I'm going to move to grant the permits within 6 months. Let's dig some mines.
That's right. Drill, baby, drill. And pull those resources out. I've told this story before. I've traveled up and done gold mining up in the north, up in the Yukon. I've actually gone to I saw a silver mine. I went to a silver mine where I actually, took my little hammer and took a chunk of silver right in my hand, right out of it. And the mine was shut down. There was nobody mining up there. There's like tons of minerals that aren't even being touched. I don't know why they're not mining. It could very well be because of government regulations or whatever. But definitely there's lots of gold up there. There's lots of all kind of minerals, and a lot of people aren't doing anything about it because part of the problem is the environmental hurdles that have to be jumped over in order to do any mining in this freaking country. It's absolutely ridiculous. Totally ridiculous.
We're going to bring to the surface our 1,300 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. We have massive advantages.
Exactly, Fire Stick.
We have massive advantages in natural gas. What is it? First of all, it takes 11 days to ship to Asia from Canada.
Only Mr. Bill.
It takes 20 days from the U.S.
Coming in,
Gulf
where are
Coast.
you?
Second of all, how do you liquefy gas?
Portland. Are you in Portland or
cool it down?
Seattle.
And what do we have in Canada? We have cold weather, which means it's 25% cheaper to liquefy gas in Canada than it is in the U.S. Gulf Coast. We have clean hydroelectricity that can power that liquefaction. We have the incredible engineers who can do it. All we need is to grant permission, and that is what I will do. We will cool that gas to minus 161 degrees Celsius. We will ship it off to Asia.
Nafu, good to see you. Yeah, we're late, but not never. Better late than never.
We're going to ship it off to Asia to sell it to them so they can break their dependence on dirty coal. We will ship it off to Europe to break European dependence on Putin. And break Canada's dependency on the Americans. We will turn dollars for dictators into paychecks for our people. We're going to bring in shovel. Bring it home. Bring it home. Bring it home. Bring it home.
Bring it home.
Bring it home.
Axe the tax.
I love you guys too, and I need you all, the young people here, I need you to go and study the trades. Get an apprenticeship.
That's right. You want a job?
You got any trades workers here? Well, give it up
That's
for the trades
jobs
workers.
are.
Boots, not suits.
And whatever you do, don't go to university and get the rainbow Marxist indoctrination, okay?
Right on. Because we're going to have these shovel-ready zones. These shovel-ready zones will draw a big circle around an area that's already pre-permitted and pre-approved to dig a mine, build a power station, a data center, a pipeline, you name it. We'll get it approved before they even apply for it. Lightning fast permitting will get the projects going.
Yes. Bring it home. Yeah, bring it back to the USA. Bring it back to Canada. Yep.
Now, liberals turn their nose up at the trades. They look down at people who work with their hands. They're the smartest people. We don't need any of that elitism. What we need is the practical people who know how to dig stuff, move stuff, fix stuff, and build stuff, right?
Exactly.
And that's why I announced we're going to cut bureaucracy, and we're going to put the money into restoring the $4,000 apprenticeship grants, and we're going to fund 350,000 more training spots for young apprenticeships and other people to learn how to build stuff. Boots, not suits. Boots, not suits.
You hear that? Boots, not suits. In other words, he knows that that we should be sending more kids to the trades, to the trade schools, and that, to getting those, the plumber, electrician, carpenter, welder, whatever, those kind of jobs. That's where the jobs are. That's where the jobs always are. But instead, everyone goes for a university education, and then they go, oh, I can't get a job. I don't know. I'm so educated, but I end up working at the 7-Eleven store. Yeah, and they're the ones that are crying. Of course, yeah, you need lawyers, you need doctors, you need, highly educated people. You know, I'm not saying you don't need those people, but you know what has happened is that you have so many people going for university education, and then not all of them can get a job. Well, maybe some of them should have been, at the trade schools getting a more boots on the ground type of an education.
And you know what else we're going to do? We're going to bring home the Canadian promise for our brilliant immigrants. We have while we help end the shortfall in our healthcare system, we have 20,000 immigrant doctors and 32,000 immigrant nurses who can't work because there's no way for them to prove their qualifications. We've had the red seal for the trades in this country for over 70 years. It's very simple. You have a merit-based national licensing system recognized by the provinces that allows our immigrant and Canadian-born but trained abroad doctors, nurses, architects, and others take a test, prove they're qualified, get a license, and get working, reducing our wait times.
That's right, because what happens now is you have people that are doctors or whatever, highly educated in other countries, they come to Canada, and they can't get a job because they have to absolutely become re-educated before they're accepted. So you see, doctors and highly educated people driving Uber cabs in Canada and complaining about not being able to get a decent job. And actually, I went to Calgary, and so I rode with a couple of cab drivers there, and that's exactly what they told me. Exactly what he's saying, that they can't get a job in Canada. The guy said my wife is a doctor, and he couldn't get a job. So it's there. It's happening.
We love you, Pierre.
Sorry for the blurry video. It's coming from the feed.
Filipino nurses working in our hospitals.
Can't do anything about it.
We want them and everyone to bring home powerful paychecks, but those paychecks have to go to safe neighborhoods again. So we will stop the crime.
Yeah.
Crime.
This is interesting what he says about crime, because let's face it, not everyone is a criminal. There's a very few number of people that are criminals, but the justice system doesn't lock them up in jail in Canada. What it does is it's sort of a catch and release program, right, is what they have set up here. The judges are obliged to go with the very lowest thing that they can possibly give the criminal. So then you end up with seasoned criminals that are out there doing it over and over and over again. And when we can't do a damn thing about it, the police complain about it. And it's the Liberals that implemented that kind of justice system in Canada. Shame on the Liberals. Let's listen.
Crime, chaos, drugs, and disorder are overtaking our once safe streets. The catch and release liberal justice system turns loose the same violent offenders over and over again. Now listen to this. Here's the good news. Here's the good news. We don't have a lot of criminals. Here's the bad news. They're very productive. The same small group of criminals keep doing the same.
Yeah, the Liberals.
You heard about the robbery in Ottawa. You guys hear about the robbery in Ottawa? It's terrible. Guy walks up to another fellow, pulls out a gun and says, "Give me all your money." And the man says, "Wait a second, do you know who I am? I'm Justin Trudeau." And the criminal then looked at him and said, "Well, in that case, give me all my money."
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
So,
exactly.
Anyway, they have C-75, which grants automatic bail. It requires judges release offenders at the, quote, earliest opportunity under the, quote, least restrictive conditions. That's right out of the law.
Yep.
So then the judges release them again and again and again. In Vancouver, they had to arrest the same 40 offenders 6,000 times. In Penticton, get this, in Penticton, there is one guy, his name is Levi. He does so much crime that when he's out of prison, the crime rate for the entire city of Penticton goes up. One guy. The solution is very simple. It's very simple. Jail, not bail. We will bring in a law making repeat offenders ineligible for bail, probation, parole, or house arrest. It will be jail, not bail. Jail, not bail.
Exactly, Fire Sticks. You know, what they do is the people that are actually doing the crimes, like the break and enter, stealing, theft, robbing, knifing, whatever, they get out. But the people that they really throw in jail and incarcerate are people that use their mouths and say things like the preacher, like Poilievre, like Pat King, Tamara Leach. You know, those are the people that end up in jail for the longest time. And those are called political prisoners, you know, and the government loves to put away anybody that is vocal against the government. Oh, for God, if you should say something negative about the government. But go and rob and steal and kill and stab and do whatever you want. And hey, you'll be let out. Hey, no bail for that guy.
And then, my friends, unfortunately,
conservatives,
there's the terrible tragedy of drugs.
Hang on, because let's face it, the government and the you know, they're appointed. A lot of the people are appointed, and they're just so liberal. You know, the judges and people like that in government. It's like we have a deep state here in Canada, just like you do in the States, and it's a liberal deep state. You know, a lefty deep state here too. So if you're conservative at all, and they know you're conservative, they'll throw the book at you. They'll make sure you stay in jail for as long as possible. It's a scam. Scam goes on in the States the same way as here in Canada.
Opioid overdoses have killed 50,000 people in the last decade, more than died fighting for Canada in the Second World War. These drugs are ravaging our communities, tearing apart families, and ending far too many promising lives. We know this happened because corrupt pharmaceutical companies lied to the medical system to push those opioids, claiming that they were neither addictive nor lethal. In fact, they were both. And now the Liberal government continues to give more money to those same corrupt pharmaceutical companies to hand out what they call a safe supply. In other words, giving more opioids to people who are addicted to opioids. They have effectively decriminalized hard drug possession. They are not prosecuting drug possession crimes. And meanwhile, those courageous people who struggle with addiction and want to get help cannot find assistance because there are no spaces for them. My friends, we will take the opposite of approach. After 10 years of this Liberal government, they do not deserve a fourth term. What we need is to fight drugs for a change. We will ban the drugs, stop giving out taxpayer-funded opioids.
Wow. This should be interesting to see what happens, because I went out, if you saw my last video where I went out to the Tesla store and watched the protesters at the Tesla store. After that, I drove around downtown Edmonton, and I counted about 500 derelicts within a couple block radius there that I was kind of circling. There was about 500 homeless people that I was able to visibly count that were just, you know, drugged up, whatever, hanging around looking for their next meal. Just, you know, a lot of them on the free drug program, because let's face it, when you're out there and there's nothing better to do and you're just, you know, having to weather the storm of living out in 30 below weather, you know, you're going to get hooked on drugs because the drugs are going to make you feel better. And the drugs are being supplied by the government to the people, and they're all tweaking out all over the place. And when they can't get the government handed out drugs, well, they're doing the illegal fentanyl, you know, doing the bent fent and all the rest of that stuff. So it's a bad situation out there, and it's got to stop. And you know what? We finally got somebody here that's got a brain in their head and is going to actually do something about it. Kudos. Exactly, John. That's what the Liberals did.
And we will invest in treatment and recovery to bring our loved ones home drug-free. My message to anyone out there who's struggling with addiction. I know it's hard, but have hope. Hang on. Help is on the way. And we will restore order at the border. Liberals have broken the border, allowing 99% of shipping containers to enter without any inspection at all. That's where the drugs, guns, and stolen cars.
I was thinking about this. Hey, Americans, you better not attack us Canadians up here, because our country is completely full of terrorists. You know, we've got people that are lined up here just ready to go. So look out.
Are able to move. Our common sense plan will hire 2,000 more frontline CBSA officers. We will have surveillance towers and scanners that can look right inside those shipping containers. Very simple. If the manifest says that it's widgets in the container, but you look at the scanner and you see it's a beamer, well, then you pull the box aside, you roll the car out, you call the guy on the VIN, you say, were you planning to send your beamer to Turkey today? No, you weren't. You were planning to drive it to work, but it was missing from your driveway. Well, we've got it over at the Port of Montreal. You can pick it up. And then you go to the guy who booked the shipping container and you say, you're under arrest. Common sense.
Seems simple enough. All you have to have is people and equipment to do the job. And right now we're not doing it. And you know what? There are so many reports where people have put trackers in vehicles that have been stolen. And in fact, there was one stolen vehicle that ended up where the guy was driving it around somewhere in Turkey, right? That's why he's talking about that. That's an actual story that actually happened.
So, how are we going to pay for it? We have a dollar for dollar principle. We're going to get the money elsewhere. You know what we're going to do? We're going to cancel the multi-billion-dollar gun grab that targets licensed, law-abiding.
Hey, this is a good one here. Hey, Alberta, thanks a lot for that shout out there, Alberta Radio. I saw that where you gave my channel a shout out there. We're over on YouTube here. Tommy Temper Show on YouTube is where a lot of the chat is happening over here. Got a few more people watching over here than on Fascist Book. I'm really shadow banned. Actually, I'm shadow banned everywhere. Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. X. I just don't have a really big audience at all. Should have a lot bigger audience, but I'm just plain conservative on left-wing platforms, so we can only go so far. Good to see you, though. Thanks for joining us.
So here's the choice. Liberals want to go after Grandpa Joe's hunting rifle. Grandpa Joe's not the problem. He's not shooting up our streets. Here's the choice, my friends. Canada First conservatives want to protect Canadians from criminals. Liberals want to protect turkeys from hunters. You decide what makes most sense to you.
Yeah. Quit throwing away the money on the gun grabs that you're doing.
But in order to have safety in our land, we need a strong, well-funded, respected, and supported Canadian Armed Forces again.
Sounds good. That's right.
Our Canada First plan starts with reinvesting and taking back control of our Arctic seas, skies, and soil from incursions by the Chinese and Russians.
Yeah, think about that. The Arctic ice is breaking up, and there's more traffic in that area. And of course, the Chinese and Russians want to, go in the area and kind of, make their presence known. And we need to have enough, ships. Wait, what have we got for a submarine? I don't know. Canada even have a submarine that works? I don't think so. But we need more presence up in the Arctic. Absolutely. And this is what he's talking about, setting up a base up in the north. Of course, we have a base in a place called Alert, but it's not the kind of base where it's going to be able to protect us at all. So, there's some work in that regard that has to be done.
The liberals could not even shoot down a Chinese spy balloon. I think it was actually a weather balloon, but they couldn't stop that either. Because they've cut back on our...
If you recall, on the incident, we actually had to call in the Americans from Alaska, and they're the ones that shot down the weather balloon up in the Yukon, if you remember that story. Funnier than hell. But yeah, we couldn't even shoot down a spy balloon.
Forces disrespected, wasted money, and put the dollars into back office bureaucracy. Our common sense plan: we'll cut back on foreign aid and put it into our military to support our troops. And that will include, we'll bring home our money, and we will use it to build the first post-Cold War base in the Arctic, CFB Iqaluit.
There you go. CFB Iqaluit. Hey, that's quite the big thing. There you go. That's exactly what we need. A presence up there in the Arctic. I think that we even are going to bed with, and why they need this, I'm not too sure, but there's an over-the-horizon radar system that they want to build up in the Arctic, along with Australia and not the States. They don't want to partner with the States on anything now. And, my own mind on that is, isn't over the horizon radar kind of an old school thing that's being replaced by satellites? And can a satellite detect a missile flying from Russia or China over the Arctic into Canada? It's all done with satellites these days. I don't know where you need some ground-based stuff for radar, unless it's some kind of anti-missile system. If it's an anti-missile system, well, yeah, then you can't do it. But then again, hey, why not work on a satellite with a laser beam that can destruct a missile? I don't know. Is the technology there yet to where they can build that kind of stuff? I don't know.
We will have 4 massive Arctic icebreakers that are going to smash through all that ice, open up our waters, and declare our sovereignty over that territory. We will ensure we have new fighter jets, new Poseidon surveillance aircraft that can look down and intercept and interrupt the work of the Chinese and Russians with their submarines. We'll double the size of the first patrol of the Arctic Rangers, who are on the ground defending our sovereignty, and to bind our people together and renew the interest of our youth in the military and in our country. We will massively expand the cadet corps for our young people.
Yeah. Who told you that? Canada RV? Where is he? Canada RV.
And we will end the radical, borderless, globalist ideology of the Liberal government.
Yeah. Oh, what about the woke ideology, too? You forgot that. I heard Carney, the Liberal, say that he doesn't like the Conservatives because they're not woke, and he wants to make sure that we don't lose our wokeness in Canada. Holy shit! Carney. Carnival Carney. The woke SOB. Definitely not my prime minister. But Pierre here, on the other hand, yeah, I think he's got it. He's like anti-WEF, anti-globalist. He probably was not before, but, people are changing their views over the past 10 years. Yeah, probably people 10 years ago, every politician was kind of hoodwinked into the globalism bullshit. But now people are starting to see the light on how bad that the WEF and globalism is, and they're pulling out of it. Look at Trump. He's saying, yeah, poo-poo to the French climate change bullshit that was going on, and also the WEF and the rest of the globalist stuff. Like, Trump has it right, and Pierre here is, he's not a MAGA, but he's definitely not a woke liberal. I'll tell you that much. So really, you've got the woke NDP, which is like, wow. Did you see Jagmeet Singh was wearing a pink turban today, and he had a girl with pink hair standing behind him for the NDP start of their campaign. So talk about woke. Like, he's definitely going for the LG vote over there. But over here on this side of the fence with the conservatives, yeah, not so much woke.
Out of control, borderless policies like the Censory Initiative, which seeks to where Mr. Carney and Mr. Trudeau have taken the advice of Mr. Wiseman, which is to expand our population to 100 million people. More than doubling the population.
No, and I've actually gone on the ice roads, door knocker, but the ice roads go over lakes, inland lakes, and not the so-called Arctic Ocean.
The GTA, when we're already in a housing crisis.
Nice to see you.
We have seen, we love immigration. We always had the best immigration system in the world. We brought in people with skills who could fill jobs and succeed in our country in numbers that our housing, healthcare, and job market could absorb. But Liberals blew the system out of control, increasing population at 3 times the rate of our housing stock. They allowed fraud and abuse in the temporary foreign worker, international student, and in the other programs.
Hit that like button. Give us a like. We need more likes.
Common sense conservatives will reject. Canada First conservatives will reject the Century Initiative. We will end the abuse in those programs, reject fraudulent claimants, deport criminals from this country.
Oh, no, I know. I'm chuckling. Door knocker.
And we will cap immigration so that never again does our population grow faster than our housing, our healthcare, and our jobs.
You know, that is such a big problem here. You know, I'll tell you, I was at the Costco store today. Okay, you know, Costco is kind of the store where, you know, a lot of people shop. And if you go to Costco on a Sunday, like, it's pretty full. And like, I'm at the front there, and there's a couple of people that are working the Costco store that are white, like me, you know. And it's like everybody else in the store is like, you know, brown or black or whatever, some color from either from Africa or East Indian or Chinese or something, some kind of an identifiable group that is not white, you know. And I'm going, and there's just so many people, and it was just so packed that it was like I was like getting I was feeling claustrophobic, you know, just standing there amongst all those people that are just all around, all over the place, and they're lined up to get a hot dog and whatever, and it's just there had to be like 100 people lined up to get a hot dog or a slice of pizza, and there was nowhere to sit because the tables were all full, and they hardly have any tables. And I said to the 2 people working there that and they were white people too. I don't know why they were, but I said, wow. I said, we're getting taken over. There's like way too many people in Canada. You know what? They both looked at me and they both shook their head and they go, yeah, we agree. So, you know, like you have to see it for yourself. Like Canada is like way smaller than the States. So when you bring in millions of people, it changes the complete fabric of the country. You think that things look bad over in the UK? They're no better here in Canada. No better whatsoever. There's like our whatever, the identity of where I thought, oh, I'm a Canadian. I don't think I'm a Canadian anymore. It's like I'm living in a foreign land here now. It feels like I'm living in India or I don't know, Iran or I don't know, somewhere else, but this just doesn't feel like Canada anymore. And, you know, and I'm not being racist saying that either. You know, there's going to be the, oh, Tommy Temper, you're a racist, whatever, you know. But no, that's not racist. But Trudeau made everyone feel racist by talking about immigration. You know, oh, you're racist for even talking about it, you know. You know, we should be just accepting of everybody that's popping in here, you know, and just live with what's happening to the country. No, that's where we're saying enough is enough.
We will also honor our history, this cancel culture that has tried to lower our flag.
This is a big one, too. The cancel culture. Like me, Tommy Temper, me. That's not my real name, right? I do have a real name. I do have a real identity. I have absolutely been cancel cultured by the left, by the Antifas of the world, by the lefties, right? Because that's what they like to do. They like to call you names, call you every name in the book, and then put your name and your picture and things like that up on social media, on websites, on so-called anti-hate websites, which are actually funded by Trudeau, by the Liberal government, right? That's what cancel culture is all about. I've been cancel cultured. That's why I can never ever run for any kind of parliament or any political position here in Canada, because I've already been absolutely, cut right out. I've been cancel cultured. Like I'm not here anymore. I'm like gone. I'll never be able to do anything in a political nature like that, because they'll always come back and go, oh yeah, but Tommy Temper, look at this. No, but that's fake. It's all fake stuff that they come up with, and they do these stories about you and stuff, and it's all bullshit just to cancel culture, just to cancel you out so that they can go, oh, well, don't listen to him. He's just a racist or whatever, or a misogynist or whatever the names are. And they have all kind of names that they call you. And then or a colonist, whatever. Like, for example, John A. Macdonald, right? Great first Prime Minister of Canada, built the railway across Canada, did lots of good things for Canada. What do? The lefties pull down their statues. In Edmonton here, we have Emily Murphy. Her statue was just cut down over at the park from the lefties, right? Because they don't like her, because they consider the name Emily Murphy is a colonizer. So if you're a colonizer, we have to cut the culture, take you out of the history books, and make sure that you're never talked about ever again.
We're going to put Terry Fox and the Famous Five and our veterans and other Canadian heroes back in the passport. We're going to unite our country around common values, common identity, common sense, and a common love for our country.
Yeah, good point there, John. Look how many Asians own houses in Vancouver. Yeah, well, what happens is we're because Canada has so few population, or such a small population, you have the Asians that come over and buy the real estate, buy all the houses. There's lots of houses owned, like $1 million houses that aren't even owned by Canadians. And that in itself causes the real estate to be pushed up. We should actually make it the same as it is in China, that you have to be a citizen of China to buy a house in China, right? If it's good for them, why isn't it good for us? You should be a citizen of this country to be able to buy real estate here, period. And I don't know why they don't make that kind of a rule. And that in itself is why the housing is so expensive here in Canada, because of everybody coming with the money. The money comes in, buys up the real estate, and they don't even live in the houses. They just rent them out or whatever, or let them sit vacant even. There are tons of vacant houses sitting vacant in Vancouver. Now, I think the government is trying to do something about it. Whether or not they have or not, I don't know.
We're going to put our statues back up, including the great John A. Macdonald.
There you go. AD.
And we will build out the vision of an East-West nation that John A. brought to this country.
That's right.
He was the first to stand up and say, we are not Americans, we are Canadian.
We are Canadians. Let's go. Okay, we're not separating. Today we're not separating. Today we're all united Canadians, okay? We'll leave the separation and joining up with the states another day. But for this election, we are Canadians, and now we have to join forces with each other to make sure that we don't get taken over by the Americans. No, we don't want to be the 51st state. We don't. Honestly. Believe me. Hey, Lion. Yeah. You can stand on a soapbox and try and cancel culture me, but it ain't gonna work, right? That's how it goes.
unite this great nation
Canada.
from east to west, binding it.
That sounds kind of stupid. Canada. Canada. Okay, I won't go there.
Together with pipelines and free trade and open markets and common values and shared aspirations.
We need free trade within our own frickin' provinces. We don't even have free trade. For example, you can't sell booze from one province to the other. They like put up roadblocks all over the place in Canada here between the provinces, which is bullshit. We should be able to have, if you're working, you should be able to work from one job to another job. Like, for example, a car, for example. If you take a car from anywhere else in Canada and you bring it into Alberta here, you can't register it. You have to go through this inspection. And then if there's anything wrong with the car, then you have to get all those things fixed before you can get a registration. So for example, you can't even drive a car into different provinces here without having to go through a whole bunch of bullshit to be able to even get the thing registered. There's a whole bunch of stuff like that just makes it impractical, for example, for me to buy a car in Saskatchewan and bring it here, or to buy a car from British Columbia and bring it into Alberta here. They just make it hard for you to do anything, which we should take those barriers down.
We will be a nation that builds homes for its youth, makes goods for itself, trades from Canadian to Canadian, that honors its history, supports its heroes, uplifts its young people, and honors its old. We will go from being a nation of tax collectors and toll masters, bureaucrats and busybodies, grandees and gatekeepers, rulers.
Busybodies. Oh, did someone say Catamus Rex? Busybody?
And rule makers, to being a nation.
Who's another busybody?
And entrepreneurs, artists and adventurers, warriors and workers, pioneers and patriots, united.
I like these late night streams because the busybodies don't show up. They go to bed early. Yeah, Sandy's another busybody. Yeah, she's not here. Too late. She goes to bed at 9:00. Bri, who we're talking about.
What binds us together is the Canadian promise that anyone from anywhere can achieve anything, that hard work gets you a great life, in a beautiful house, on a safe street, protected by brave troops under a proud flag. To uphold that flag and its promise, we must work together, fight together, and win together. That is what it means to put Canada first. Let's bring it home!
Okay. There you go. So it's a big one. It's a big one for these guys doing their thing there. Oh, hang on. Don't want to get a music strike there. But yeah, that looks like a very, very positive campaign start for Pierre Poilievre, and I think he has the charisma to be able to pull this one off, whereas our good friend Carbon Carney, not so much. He's going to have a tough one, especially when it comes to a debate. I think Carbon Carney is going to fail in the debate because he doesn't even like to answer questions from the media. He doesn't actually answer the questions. He just deflects. He acts like more of a seasoned politician than Pierre. Pierre, if mainstream media asks him any kind of a question, he'll answer it, and he'll even put down he's kind of almost like Trump, where he will potentially put down the person asking him the question if it's just a stupid question, But a very, very good start to the campaign. Very good. Very well received. And I think us Canadians here should be quite proud of Pierre for a good start off with everything. Hey, well, that's pretty good. Okay, well, that's it for my broadcast here tonight. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks a lot for being part of it here. We're not going to go long. I just wanted to do a political thing here And I'll be doing more political type broadcasts that are going to be just short, to the point. And I've kind of come to the assumption that the thing that's kind of dragging my program down is the chat, right? Because the chat ends up getting me talking about stuff that is stupid and has nothing to do about what the program is about. And you guys start getting into your own little fights and stuff like that amongst yourself, which ends up, dragging the whole thing down. And people don't like that. So I'm just going to stick to the topic and do that kind of stuff, do those kind of broadcasts. So thanks a lot for watching, everyone. We hope that you will be able to catch us the next time we're live. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.